Good day, I'm Dr. T and welcome to my office. So in this series, I'm talking about universal design and things that you can do to make your class more accessible to more students just by the nature of your class and not trying to rely on accommodations. So you're probably making course room materials. You're probably making your PowerPoint slides if you're using PowerPoints. I actually don't use them very much, but occasionally I do. Additionally, you might be making handouts, worksheets, etc. So if you're doing that, one approach that works fairly well, and a lot of students are actually pretty accustomed to, so you're going to get pressure from all your students to do this, is to post them on the learning management system. This actually has a lot of advantages, especially for things like PowerPoints. Students are able to review them, they're able to have them out while you are presenting your lecture, and they're able to follow along, they're able to take notes. One thing that we've kind of discovered over the last many years is that a lot of our students try and take dictation, not take notes. They try and copy everything down. They're novices. They don't know what's important and what's not so important. Well, if you've got the PowerPoints there and you're covering the topic and they've got the PowerPoints in front of them, they're not pushed to try and copy everything from the PowerPoint because it's already there. They're copying and taking notes on the things you're talking about, expanding upon the PowerPoints. This seems to help a lot of students. They at least really appreciate it. And for those students who are like myself, dyslexic, this is really important because quite often I can take notes, I ain't reading them. If I'm doing it by hand, good luck. Chemical structures usually I can sort out. But hey, I'm dyslexic. My handwriting's horrible. My spelling is atrocious. Yeah, English just does not work for me. I need to type everything out. You would think that would be a lot faster, but not when you go back and spell check. So if I'm just taking notes like normal, that's actually kind of counterproductive. Additionally, I'm focusing on taking notes. I am not focusing on paying attention to what you're saying. So as a dyslexic, having a preset set of notes is really helpful for me. Or if you're going for kind of a board approach, you're usually going a little bit slower. Now, let's say you don't use PowerPoints. Or you're looking to go maybe another level up. Another approach would be to create an online video series. Really not that hard. Grab yourself a couple $100 camera, maybe a better microphone than what you have on the camera, but honestly, that's not really that needed. And record yourself. What you'll find is a lot of your lectures, you can get really shrunk down pretty quick. That's what my other channel is really dedicated to. And most of those classes, I've got an entire class worth of lectures, they're only about 10 hours long. Turns out when you're just going straight and editing out the blurbs that you didn't want to have, you can really shorten it up. If you post it on a site like YouTube, YouTube does a pretty good job of closed captioning it for you. It's not perfect, but it does a halfway decent job for a computer, and it's gotten a lot better even the last couple of years. Additionally, it handles bandwidth issues because students don't always have great internet. In some places, you don't have great internet either. So if you've got a large high-resolution file, which might be nice, but they have lousy internet, YouTube will kind of pack it down and give them the low resolution one because that's about the best they're ever going to get. So that is another approach. That's something I've taken. That's a lot more work than simply uploading your PowerPoints to the learning management system. That takes seconds, not hours upon hours, but those are both good approaches. Now, if you are going to be uploading your PowerPoints, handouts, etc. to the learning management system, which once again, I strongly encourage you to do, I also encourage you to do so in the format that you created them. So if they're a PowerPoint, upload them as a PowerPoint file. If it's a Word document, upload that as a Word document file. Don't try and do a PDF, and please don't try and lock down the PDF. For those students who are using things like text-to-speech, once again, like myself, this makes it a lot harder, especially if you've locked it down. That can just make it impossible. But if it's in a PDF form, now we have to extract the text, try and do text-to-speech, and this may become difficult enough to the point where it's like, give up, you can't do it. Same goes for things like PowerPoints. Also for the visually impaired students, they may need to edit your files to make the font bigger so they can actually see it, change contrast, etc. So you want to be able to enable the students to do adaptation. Typically, we think of disabilities and meeting the needs of disabled students in the form of adaptation and accommodation. Accommodation is what I change to help the student. Adaptation is what they change about themselves. I don't want to get in the way of their adaptation. So if it's not a PDF, it's not locked down, then that's going to give them more options. Cutting and pasting that into a text-to-speech program or changing the font can be absolutely essential for them. If it's a Word file, hey, Word's already got text-to-speech built into it. At least the newest one does. Quite helpful. Now you might be saying, but wait, that's going to help students cheat. They could copy and paste my content into their stuff. Yes, they could, or they could just cut and paste from Chegg. Let's just be honest. What are they likely to do? Your stuff or Chegg? I see Chegg stuff all the time. So you are adding some security by locking it down, but you're not adding a lot of security, and you are really making it harder for those students who do need that feature. Additionally, a lot of your other students may well choose to use a program like OneNote to maintain their notes. I don't see it too often, but I know myself, I like it. And in that case, if they can cut and paste from your material into their own, reformat it, it really does make a nice set of notes. So yeah, I strongly encourage you, upload your files to the learning management system. If you want to go full on and make a YouTube series, the students do seem to love that. Also, if a student misses a day, it's like, well, it's on the YouTube series. YouTube's a great platform for this. And do make sure the students can edit the files you do upload. It really does make things a lot easier for them. And while I'm on this, honestly, I found a lot of my students, they will bring their laptops to class, and most of them will have the PowerPoints. I don't actually teach from PowerPoints, but I do provide them my old PowerPoints. They'll have the PowerPoints or some of the resources I've provided up on the screen. A few of them will also have, you know, Candy Crush or whatever the game du jour this week is. And, well, students are going to student. Let's just be honest, that does happen. But the more freedom you give to students, the more freedom your students who need to make adaptations have to adapt to the needs of the course. Hope that was of interest to you. I'll see you in later videos, and have a wonderful day.